Let's move on, shall we? Pub landlady in Essex has defended her display of golly dolls. 6 police officers were sent to the pub to confiscate the, to some, controversial dolls. Anyway, she's having none of it, planning to put some more dolls up there, and apparently it's been investigated as an alleged hate crime. I've got to say, I deliberately used the word golly dolls then, because there's something about the phrase a golliwog that makes me kind of, I can't explain it. There's a part of me that makes me wince. Now, when I was growing up, I vaguely remember my nana used to get Turkins. I can't remember what jam it was now. Was it? Yeah, but I remember on the label of the jam, we used to get pin badges and you know, to us, it was just toys, it was very innocent and all the rest of it. But to many people, these are very offensive.
Yeah, I think the issue here isn't whether the dolls themselves are offensive. They clearly are, based on a racial stereotype. The question is the display of these dolls in a pub, does it even approach the threshold of being a hate crime or even a racially aggravated criminal offence? And the answer, I think, is plainly no. The offence, I think the police have said that they're investigating as a potential hate crime is causing someone of a particular race harassment, alarm or distress, which is an offence under the Public Order Act. But they'd have to show intent in order to prosecute the publican for this. And it's clear that he didn't intend to cause anyone harassment, alarm or distress by displaying these dolls. So I think the chances of him actually being prosecuted and it standing up in court are vanishing to zero. So the question is, why are the police sending up to 6, some people say it was 5, some 6 police officers into a pub to confiscate these dollies in evidence bags when, I looked this up, but the number of burglaries which ended in someone being charged or summoned to court in Essex in 2018-19 was 4%. So 96% of burglars got away scot-free in Essex in 18-19. I don't suppose those numbers have improved since. If you get burgled, you're lucky if 1 police officer turns up at your house, let alone 6. The problem here is that the police are prioritising investigating, potential hate crimes and neglecting actual crimes. The police just don't know enough about the legal protections in place in this country for free speech. The Free Speech Union FOI'd all the police forces in England and Wales a couple of weeks ago. We published our report. Turns out that the overwhelming majority received no training at all when it comes to the free speech protections incorporated when the Human Rights Act incorporated the European Convention on Human Rights. Article 10 protects free speech. There are common law protections in place for free speech. The police know nothing about this. All the training they receive is about diversity, equity and inclusion, protecting the feelings of various oppressed minorities. So, of course, they waste their time pursuing these vexatious complaints, which are never going to result in prosecution. We see it over and over again. And neglect solving basic crimes, which is one of the reasons people are so fed up. It's not racism.
It's racism, pure and simple. The reason
it's not racism. You think the police were going to secure this guy's going to be convicted in a court of law for racism?
Golliwogs are racist. They're a racist depiction of black people. They should be put in the dustbin of history, and these should have been put in the bin by the police.
But it's not a crime to display them in a pub. It's not against the law. Having racist, offensive dolls which offend customers is actually, as you said, an offence under the Public Order Act. There's the intention of the pub landlord who lives in Turkey is reasonably clear from his own social media. White Lives Matters, a gollywog, set up for a lynching. All of these things go to one place and one place entirely. The dolls, gollywog, the reason, Michelle, that you call them golly dolls is because the actual word wog is offensive. It's deeply racist. And most British people have got friends, people of colour, have got members of the family, just like I have got friends and members of my family, people of colour, who were deeply offended by this and are deeply upset, deeply uncomfortable. And it is right that this is dealt with. It's right that these are put in the dustbin of history. And there's absolutely no defence for display. If they love their gollywogs, they can have them in their house. No one cares. But having them in their pub is making a statement about who should be and who shouldn't be in a pub. And that is actually a matter of public policy.
But I mean, that's quite a leap. You're suggesting that if someone's got one of those dolls, what they're actually saying is that a black person's not welcome in that facility.
In the pub.
No, but he says that people of colour drink in his pub all the time and have never complained about the dolls being displayed behind the bar. It's not his intention to send a signal to potential black customers, you're not welcome in my pub.
It's simple. He can take them out of his pub. Most people who are affected by racism don't shout out about it, don't answer, don't make a fuss about it. That's the problem about inequality. It's the problem about racism is that people have lose their voice. They don't make complaints. This is a terrible, terrible, terrible thing to do in the 21st century to be doing this.
But it sounds like, John, what you're saying is you think it's the police's job to protect people from being offended, even if the offender isn't actually breaking the law. Is that what you're saying?
No, displaying them in the pub is deliberately to try to offend people.
I think that's a leap. I don't think his intention was to cause harassment, alarm or distress to potential customers.
Who gets to decide someone's intention?
Well, in the end, it's the courts.
I don't think it won't get to court.
In the end, it's the courts. But
it'll probably be recorded as a non-crime.
In my view, the police should go in every day to that pub and remove those racist dolls until they're no longer displayed.
So you think that the situation as it is now in terms of crime and all the rest of it, you think it's a good use of police time, firstly, that multiple officers turn up and confiscate those dolls, and then you think it's an even better use of police time for them to go back every single day?
Until it stops.
But what if it doesn't stop? So every single day?
Look, it would stop eventually.
Why?
Because the dolls might get lost in police custody.
But if they felt they're not doing anything wrong, and what Toby's saying is...
But they are doing something clearly wrong.
Well, something you disapprove of, but I don't think it's against the law. So the police really shouldn't be sending 6 officers around to this pub to bag up 15 dolls. Why does it take 6 officers? It's absolutely ludicrous. It's a complete waste of police time and resources. They should be stopping crimes that are, disproportionately affecting people of colour in Essex, just like in other parts of the country.
The entire police service is in a massive crisis in its ability to investigate and prosecute crime. There's no doubt about that. I mean, that is, in the end, a matter of the Conservative government's systematic underfunding of it. But in this case, I have to say I back the police. I think what the police did was right, and more power to their elbow.
What do you make to it at home? Different opinions there. Who do you agree with? Or, frankly, neither? Do you think something completely different? Get in touch with me. Let me know your thoughts. gbviews@gbnews.uk.